You are listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Claret and Blue podcast, episode number 17, I think, the third podcast of the week. We're absolutely pumping stuff out, so I hope everyone can keep up. James, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Your second appearance, you've got the shirt back.
Third, actually. We
Is
did
it
the
third?
smart year.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, got my notes.
I'm glad you've done some actual research.
Got a pie chart in front of me, pie charts and everything, graphs, all sorts.
Mate, there's an actual laptop with stats and figures and research. What is this?
It's the stats and figures that who scored have done, not me.
I reckon. He's playing Football Manager, really. He's not doing anything over there.
Don't get me started on that game.
Do a kind of preview for the game towards the end of this podcast. First of all, Villa back in action. The winter break is over at last. How did you find the winter break? The whole kind of setup of how did it go? A bit weird, I thought.
Yeah, it's obviously nice. I think Aston Villa benefit from it because you've got players like John McGinn who's injured.
Yeah.
So it's like a free week for him to come back where we would have normally been playing a game. So essentially when McGinn does come back in March, we'll be playing that game in later on rather than during that time. And players like Jack Grealish, well, 91% of our minutes he's played this season, which is, for a player who suffered a stress injury from fatigue last season alone, this winter break comes at a very good time for him. And I know he has had the injury issue, but that's, it stands out. He's been the player who's played the most minutes. Yeah. 10% more than the next player, who's Tyrone Mings. Obviously, I think
he missed a decent chunk as well.
Yeah, it would have been Tom Heaton as well. Tom Heaton and Wesley would have been two ever-presents, but of course, quite bad injuries to those guys. But there's still 70% of Villa's minutes this season played, so it shows you how much work really Grealish is putting on that pitch. I think I worked it out. It was like if you watched all of the Lord of the Rings films extended back to back 3 times over.
That's how many minutes it is.
So it's not basically 9 Lord of the Rings films, him sprinting around the pitch, Grealish. That's a lot of work.
So it's a lot of long minutes spent watching the rubbish Lord of the Rings as well.
The winter break, perfect for our team, I think.
The whole kind of structure of it, that half the league play and half the league play, is kind of weird, but back now and kind of raring to go, aren't we?
Well, unless you're West Ham and your game gets blown away.
Yeah. Telling me just before we started, Storm Dennis might be coming to
genuinely, it's on
to mess up this game. Surely not.
The matches this weekend are on notice. Yeah,
surely not.
Well, it happens, don't it? So, we weren't. When I was walking out the house the other day when we had the hailstorm, I thought this storm's real, and the game got cancelled. So these things happen. And
the storm's real. Like it was conspiracy theory.
But when it happens, you're like, a storm, a bit of wind, knocking trees over and everything around me.
Yeah, hopefully the game goes ahead as planned. So far, we're recording this on Wednesday, is it?
Yeah.
No storm yet, so
Storm Dennis is on his way.
We wait and see. Talk to me about some loan players before we move on. There's been games played by Villa loanees. Yeah, James Chester as well, we forgot. Who isn't on my list. Played for his first game for Stoke. When the picture came out of him wearing the shirt, I was like, "Oh, that looks very strange."
The Stoke shirt suits him as a body type
because it's tight
and the hair, and the way he looks. But it's like I didn't want to ever envision him in anything other than I was going to say Claret and Blue, but that could be Burnley. Yeah, like just Villa's colours. I think that was his shirt, but like what Dean Smith said was right about him. You want him to play. He's a good guy and he wants to play football. Let him go play football. And I think you do have to put players before the club sometimes, especially for people like James Chester who've given a lot to us.
He said he wanted to go, didn't he, and play some minutes, so you can't have to respect that. But yeah, it was weird.
It wasn't an easy decision for him though. He said
on Twitter.
Yeah, he seemed when he was doing that interview with Stoke, he's just like a bit like, I don't want to go on about Villa too much. Yeah, he clearly misses it. But in terms of current loanees out as well, you got Scott Hogan, 3-3 for Blues.
Absolute scenes.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And I mean, one of them was a tap-in. When I was covering the Blues game against Bristol City, tap-in, there's a picture.
They all count, James, they all count.
But he's smiling before he goes in as a still, and he's like grinning like from ear to ear.
Was that his first goal for them?
That's the second one as well, so yeah. But the one yesterday against Barnsley, gets the ball from Bellingham in the box, turn and shoot. So it's not just tap-ins. He's in a bit of form at the moment, and I think guy's got something to prove clearly. He's always been a man on a mission. He's a bloke who's working at a tyre recycling plant. He had to drive past it every day. Said to his wife, I'm not going back there again. Well, his soon-to-be wife, I'm not going back there again. Fair play to him, but I wish it could be for another club.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think I said on the transfer video that we did that I kind of want Hogan to do well. There's some fans that are like, I don't really care if he doesn't do well. I'm not fussed. I kind of want him to go and have a successful career. There's nothing against the guy, but I don't want him to benefit Birmingham City.
So he's not this guy who's kind of had a silver spoon in his mouth, being like the academy gem. He's worked really hard to get where he is, and it never really worked at Villa. He never really had that constant starting position. I mean, when he was kind of turning in the corner, we just bought Lewis Grabban in.
Yeah.
And Lewis Grabban worked by all accounts, but
he needs a bit of love, doesn't he, in a run of games, and he will score goals, but it's championship level, isn't it, as well?
Yeah,
that's the
of
difference.
course. You know, you can't get rid of that, but I think you can support Scott Hogan the person without supporting Blues. So you can just kind of you don't count it.
It's kind of annoying that he scored in 3 games and they've won 3 in a row and are flying up the table a little bit. I don't like that.
Yeah, and the manager, I mean, it's good for us because the Blues manager always speaks about him as well. He would never not mention Scott Hogan and how hard he's working and all this. But again, that's Blues. I think we have to come on to another loanee, which is another rival.
Yeah.
You know, which is ironic.
Rival.
Yeah. Callum O'Hare of Coventry, you know, got his head near splitting off on the weekend.
Yeah.
Comes out.
Nasty
brutal.
that was. Nasty.
Comes out in yesterday's game, pivotal against Portsmouth. I mean, there was a lot on the line against Portsmouth yesterday. Comes out with this like beautiful scooping pass, like Douglas Luiz did against Brighton.
Very nice.
Over the top. Like he gets it on the bounce, over the top, straight in. Coventry win the game, and you know that is a player whose contract's up at the end of the season, I believe.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who's got, like, I know he's doing it in League One and you can't really judge the quality of him, but this is a guy who's doing kind of the same things Grealish was, and Grealish was in League Two, right? So,
fair.
You know, can't make those direct comparisons, but this is a player with some creative quality, and I hope Villa do give him a deal just to see what he's got at maybe a championship level next time.
Yeah. The other player that you wanted to mention, Andre Green, another one whose contract's up in the summer.
Now,
playing up front,
Yeah, so Lee Bowyer wanted him in. At the start of the season, he went to Preston.
Yeah.
Don't know what the decision is there, whether Preston obviously can give him a higher end of the championship table under Alex Neil, kind of high flying, you know, and they've got Preston pedigree there, you know, Daniel Johnson, Callum Robinson, a few Villa players. I think, I forgot the other one, but there's an Irish one, Graham something.
Yes, don't ask me to remember. Yes.
So he went to Preston as well. So Villa players, there is history there. So, it makes sense, but he didn't get on at all at Preston. Charlton wanted him at the start of the season. Charlton wanted him to be like Carlin Grant, which is a winger. You move to the stroke and use the qualities up front.
Yeah.
They wanted him in the summer, didn't get him, came back in for him in January, and he's scoring goals up front, put straight in up front for Charlton. So I think that is now his development path. So, you know, it's a tricky conversation about contract in the summer because it's got to suit Andre Green as well as Villa. Villa can easily just trigger a 1-year extension, but, you know, if they're going to put him on the wing and he wants to play up front now, where his quality seems to be at championship level.
Oh, we need a striker.
Yeah, it depends where Villa are at the end of the season, but, you know, it looks promising. He's looking good.
Should we talk about a player who's actually at Villa?
Yes.
The captain Jack.
Well, at Villa
for now, according to all the reports. The Man United fan Jack Grealish, who can't wait to get to Old Trafford in the summer.
You know, the reports are odd because everyone says, why are you trying to sell Jack Grealish? And, you know, I don't have a phone to his agent, man. You know, I'm not trying to sell him.
I know, but James, you keep writing articles about Grealish to Man United. Stop it.
I want to keep him here forever.
Stop it. Stop trying to sell our main man.
Well, if Manchester United stop sniffing around Grealish, it stops, don't it?
I'm kind of sick of the whole thing at this point, even trying to kind of like sit on the other side of the fence of I want Grealish to stay, like he's the best player. Like I can't even bother to talk about that anymore.
It's hard, isn't it?
Because we know how good he is. He'll be in the England squad for the Euros, unless there's a major disaster on Southgate's part. Hopefully he keeps Villa up. Obviously we're in the cup final, probably won't win it, but you never know. Imagine him lifting the trophy.
It's beautiful, like
getting carried away.
It's like it's either end of the chapter,
or
like the perfect sign off, or
beginning
just
of a new
the beginning of a new one. So either way, I guess it's kind of win-win, but you don't really want to talk about Jack Grealish leaving from a media mentality because you feel like you're just trying to, you know, it's like, the big clubs always get what they want. Why do Manchester United always have to be the heroes in the Jack Grealish story coming in to save him from like Villa's relegation? Yeah, that's how it seems. To me, that's how it seems.
There was all the talk in January as well about he wants to move away in January, and it's just nonsense.
He doesn't want to move away.
Clearly didn't. Yeah. Obviously, he's not moved anyway, but that clearly was never going to happen.
It's the one about him sniffing around a house in Manchester.
Yeah, when he's away on holiday.
James Chester lives in. I'm sure Hogan and Chester live in Manchester, and they're both not moving that way.
It's just madness, isn't it? It's part of the industry that we're a part of in sports media as well. Obviously, we're guilty, to put air quotes around it for the people who aren't watching. If there's a story there, you have to write things. That's the nature of the beast. But us writing an article or anyone writing an article isn't going to affect a transfer.
You sound like you defended, defended too much now.
Yeah, a little bit I am. But also on the other hand, we have to just, from a football perspective, as a football fan, you have to appreciate Jack Grealish while he's here. He's not going to be here for the rest of his career. He will get a big move somewhere.
Yeah.
Personally, I know Man United and Man United, the big club and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't be going to Man United if I was Grealish. I'd be going to Liverpool or Man City, surely.
Yeah. Well,
Jack Grealish could play for any team in the Premier League.
I'd go to say most teams in Europe.
Yeah.
There's probably
he could slot straight into that team at Liverpool and start, in my opinion. So Man United were, 8th or 12th, or I don't even know where they are. I know it's still Man United.
Sheffield United's the one to watch, mate.
Yeah. And people say, it's Man United, biggest club in the world, and all the rest of it. Yeah, I get that. But Man United aren't what they used to be.
Regardless of league position, though, there's a certain prestige that comes with Manchester United.
Yeah, 100%.
If you move to Manchester United,
I wouldn't do it.
You get your pay rise, you get kind of almost guaranteed European football, you get guaranteed, cup competition. I don't know whether, their manager this season, obviously not the League Cup. I don't know, are they still in the FA Cup? Just don't care about Manchester United.
Don't care.
There is a certain prestige of moving to Manchester United. You get the number 7 shirt, for example. You're etched into legend at one of the biggest clubs in the world, regardless of league position. Always going to be a pull. But I think Ash wrote something yesterday. It's like staying at Villa, being the legend. That's the sell.
Yeah,
being that legend. But look, it's his life, his choice. Speculation is what football's based upon in general. You start the season speculating about where your club's going to end up.
Yeah.
As Villa fans, we've literally looked at Brentford every season and went, I want Ben Rama, want that guy, want that bloke, want Hogan, want Maupai. It swings and roundabouts. It's annoying, it's frustrating. It's always going to happen when you've got good players, and we've got good players like Grealish.
Yeah. For now, he's ours. He's not going anywhere, so cherish it, stop moaning and get on with it.
Yes.
I'm just sick of hearing about Grealish. Those words, Grealish, Man United, I'm sick of seeing them together. I'm bored of it now.
It's a proper trigger, isn't it? Jack Grealish, Manchester United, you see it not again.
Just winds me up. Should we get on to Spurs?
Get on to Spurs, mate, yeah.
So, how are you feeling about this one, first of all, just generally? Do you fear Tottenham?
Yeah, when I've looked over the history, it's bad. It's next.
I saw your piece.
It's close to terrible, mate. Last 20 games, I think we've won 3.
Get your stats up.
We've won 3, we've drawn 3. And they've
20.
won the rest. Yeah, they've won the rest. The last winning streak we had, if you call it a winning streak, 2 games in 2008. There's nothing there. There's no record we have of any success there with them.
Does that matter though? Does the last 20 games affect this one?
Look, the way you consider when you play Manchester United, they haven't been the same club after Ferguson left. Mm-hmm. We still haven't had a great deal of success. I mean, we gave them a good game earlier this season, but that record's always there, and it always stands, and history's there to kind of warn you. You look at the clubs that come to Villa Park, like in history, like Arsenal, Chelsea, and they're a Category A game for a reason. They're the games you fear, they're the games that bring everyone to. But Tottenham's something else. In terms of the history I've looked at, 91 was the last proper streak of dominance. So you either have to cast your mind back to 91, or you have to ask your dad.
Yeah.
And before that, you're looking before World War II, and then before World War I, and in between that, it's just been Spurs constantly. Yeah,
it's weird, isn't it? Even when I remember the season when Tottenham were either in the bottom 3 or right down the bottom. I think when Redknapp maybe took over, going back at
after Juan de Ramos.
Yeah, and they were a struggling club, an all right club, but struggling for a period. And even around those times, maybe I'm misremembering. I always seem to remember playing Spurs and thinking, even still, we still can't do anything. And then when we got to that period of us both going for the top 6, top 4, we'd still kind of never get anything. Peter Crouch, Defoe's, people like that.
Yeah,
Crenshaw from the Redknapp days. Those are my memories of Tottenham, and we've never really been able to get anything out of them.
Yeah,
I'm probably misremembering, but
no, I mean the only time we've threatened Tottenham since the 2 times we won, of course, earlier this season,
which is probably the one that you can take the most
stunning
from.
Goal from McGinn. You're like, this isn't real. We've just taken the lead against a team that's tipped to be great. New stadium,
first game back.
Pochettino's ready to blast it this season. McGinn scores that stunning goal. I'm videoing my mate in America, this is big, I've got to phone everyone. That's how big that goal was. And obviously we lose. Ericsson comes on, the game just gets trashed. He's not there anymore. But Tottenham have had it over us, and the only game we threatened them is when Tim showed managers, and he just didn't want to lose against them. He obviously told the team, we ain't losing this one. If there's one game we ain't losing this season, it's this one, because it's obviously the history there with him and Spurs being hard done by, him managing to get the best of Benteke at the end of the season. It's a perfect storm, and that's it. It's just a complete exception, that one. and they've had it over us since then. But it's different circumstances.
I was going to say, can we take anything from that positive first day of the season into this game?
I would say
it's a long time ago. Things have changed since
nothing.
then.
We haven't got the same goalkeeper.
The goal scorer.
Goal scorer's out. We haven't got the striker. Grealish is in better form than he was.
Yeah.
You know, he's adapted very well to the Premier League. Spurs don't have the same manager.
Yes.
Spurs don't have Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Whether it matters, it's just your expectations of that game, coming from that game to preview this one, completely ripped up, man, thrown in the air.
Yeah.
I remember when Pochettino was sacked, I was in America, so the news hits you as you wake up. You know, you hits midday here, 3 p.m. kind of discussions happening. Mourinho's coming in. Waking up in America, and you're like, what has happened? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
But you bring in someone like Jose Mourinho, someone who's a pretty stern manager. He's got a pedigree, he's a successful manager. You know, probably a good swap, I guess, in the end. But completely different circumstances, mate.
We talk about Mourinho. The kind of narrative is that Mourinho doesn't do that well against Aston Villa, which is kind of a little bit of a, what's the word? Like
it's a fluky.
There's a word that I'm thinking of, but I can't think what it is. Yeah, like a false narrative.
Yeah. A Villa spin on it. Yeah, false narrative.
We'll get there together.
I mean, you go back and it's like
urban myth is what I was thinking of.
It stems from Martin O'Neill's time, and that's ancient history.
Like in terms of football, ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, and a lot has changed.
Yeah.
But like you look at what he's done outside of Villa Park, Mourinho, what he's achieved at different clubs, what he's performed. Like, it doesn't matter how good he does at Villa Park.
Yeah.
Like, he has been at that level, and we have been up and down.
There's a stat, isn't nothing, that he's never won at Villa Park, is it? But how many times has he played at Villa Park? 2 or 3? 4?
I can't recall it. We tried to look at it before, and it was quite hard to figure out. But going back to an article from 2013, I'm sure he would have been at Chelsea after that, and the likelihood of him winning at Villa Park after that point quite high. At 2013, he hadn't won at Villa Park.
Well, we've been out of the Premier League for the last 3 years.
This is still ancient. It needs scrapping. The consideration that Mourinho doesn't do well at Villa Park, irrelevant.
Yeah. Kind of annoying, isn't it, really? Because it's one of those stats you look at and go, oh, yeah, like maybe that will have an impact somehow, but maybe he just doesn't like Birmingham or something. Maybe he doesn't like it when he comes here and he feels a bit downbeat, and then
he's a pretty downbeat guy, though, isn't he? Like,
have you seen his new bald head?
Oh yeah, it's
a bit weird, but it kind of suits him.
Looks like the top of a lipsil.
Yeah, amazing. So injury updates for Villa. Press conference hasn't been done as yet. As we're recording, it'll be over by the time this goes out. But
yes.
Dean Smith has spoken to club media, I think, about injury updates. There was Konsa, Davis, and a little bit about McGinn as well.
Yeah, Konsa's good to go.
I thought he was injured.
It was a tweak.
Oh, is he back? Back? Oh, I'm thinking Davis, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a tweak against Bournemouth he had, and they've took him off as a precaution.
Yeah.
He's trained, he's fine to go. Davis, unfortunate, because he needs the minutes to get fit.
Yeah.
Plays against the under 23s. Yeah, I'd just say, have a good game there.
Can we play against the Man City under 3s on the match 5, please?
Yeah, do the Jurgen Klopp and throw it out. Yeah. Get really stroppy and throw it out against us. But Davis took a powerful shot, hit the crossbar, and he's pulled his hamstring, it looks like. It doesn't look like a proper serious injury. It says like 2 to 3 weeks he'll be back, but this player keeps doing the same things over and over. He needs a looking after.
Yeah.
Chucking him in against an under 23s match, it needed to happen. He needed the minutes. This is just one of those things that happens.
Yeah.
But McGinn as well back after the cup final, so he
won't cutting that off there, putting an advert there. McGinn back after the cup final.
Yeah, nice audio clickbait.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we'll go for that. Don't mention clickbait. Ezri Konsa, I remember talking after the Bournemouth game, going, we've let go rid of James Chester, and now we're down to 3 centre backs. Now what? But he's back, so
it's fine.
No worries.
Look, you had to
Winter break came at a good time.
Yeah, you had to do right by James Chester, though. You can't just keep him.
Can't call him back already.
He wanted to go out and play football. He's in the last year of his contract. It was an agreement between him and Smith. You can go out. We'll manage. Look, I don't want them to change from a back 3. If they have an injury, they can just change to a back 2 again.
Yeah,
we can manage. This can be managed. It's only a disastrous circumstance where we're going to be loose without a defender, but no, Konsa's back, so all good.
The talk about McGinn was with Dean Smith and injuries. It always seems to be that we give a time frame, and then it's always more than that. It's like, Grealish will be back in a couple of weeks, and then it's a couple of weeks later, and still nothing. It's like, are we kind of underselling when he's going to be back or overselling, whichever way around it is, and then kind of letting people down. With McGinn being 2 or 3 weeks, I was kind of like, oh, back just after the cup final. Is that a sneaky thing that he might be back for the cup final?
I would
say, rush him back for that? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but
so with the Dean Smith kind of,
or is it kind of like, oh, he'll be back in 2 or 3 weeks, but it's going to be 6 weeks really?
So with the Dean Smith kind of injury conferences, I was thinking of the word managerial dark arts, like saying, oh, he's not going to be back. But like, I think it's just one of those things. It's like the Grealish injury. He probably was told that he was coming back, but then again, there's been times where like a player's been injured and he said, oh, they're unfit, and they're in training. Like there's pictures of them in training the same day.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess like these injury conferences, I wouldn't take anything crystal until you see it on a team sheet.
Yeah.
To be like, there's every chance that McGinn comes, like that guy
first game back is Wembley.
A legend. Like his resilience, you see it in the games, the amount of work he puts in per game. Mm-hmm. Like when it hits injury time, it's like his bonus hour. Like he just finds it something extra. Like his resilience is, I wouldn't be at all surprised. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him like line up for that Carabao Cup final. But again, what's been said is he'll be back after. Yeah. So that's the truth from Smith.
Seen a couple of rumblings on Twitter about whether Neeland should be playing in goal over Pepe Reina. Now for me, I would look at it as Pepe Reina has been brought in as the number one to play in the Premier League. Neeland, as your goalkeeper, done very well against Leicester and probably deserves the final, was my opinion. Pepe Reina plays in the Premier League though, doesn't he?
Of course. There was an article in The Athletic regarding kind of Neil Cutler's how he works.
The influence Neil Cutler's having on the goalkeepers.
Yeah, so this is like crazy. Like Neil Cutler's a really advanced goalkeeping coach, and like nobody reported on it, or nobody knew the methods that he uses with these goalkeepers. I mean, he's taken on Nyland as kind of a personal project to be Villa's long-term goalkeeper. Like he's able to make him react to shots like without thinking about technique. He works on his footwork.
I feel like that's something he probably should know anyway.
It's not always a given though, isn't it? I think like since the beginning of kind of this kind of structure at Villa, I wanted just to nick Brentford's coaches because they've got it sorted. They know what they're doing. They're taken by Liverpool. They're taken by other clubs. And these are the guys setting the standards. And now we've got one in Neil Cutler, and he said himself that Pepe Reina starts because Villa are a passing team and Pepe Reina is the passer. He's the most experienced goalkeeper. He's the better passer, no question. Maybe
can make good saves as well.
Yeah, of course. But like this is now like, where does this leave Tom Heaton again?
Yeah,
the question will be answered next season when he starts the first game and starts every other game because he's the guy. But Pepe Reina this season, he's the man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For the cup final, what do you do?
Nah, you give that to Nyland.
Yeah. But then you play your best team, don't you?
But he's earned. It's like what I did to Brad Guzan. Yeah, he got us there.
Yeah, I agree.
Swap him out.
But I suppose it's different, isn't it? Again, I don't want to be negative, but I always just think it's Man City.
Like he wrote that article as well, Brad Guzan, about being benched. He wrote it. He was like really up himself, and he was gutted, man. Like he was so sad.
Yeah, it's difficult because like if we were playing it again, if I felt like we had a good chance of winning, you'd think, well, we'll play our best team because we've got every chance. Man City are the better side, so is it really going to make a difference which goalkeeper plays? Probably not. I know that's very pessimistic.
Look, I mean, the difference might be small, but you got to think about these little marginal gains.
Yeah, true.
Pepe Reina gives you the best chance to win. You absolutely go for him, but then you also think Nyland can come out with those incredible saves. So maybe average Pepe Reina is the best goalkeeper, but in a heated moment when a shot comes out of nowhere, Nyland might be the guy.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those. He's splitting hairs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing on this podcast, aren't we, really?
Constantly splitting hairs.
Just a lot of guesswork, basically. So, prediction for Sunday? You willing to put a prediction out there?
Home game.
The audience.
Home game, so I'm expecting a strong performance. We've got to take these home games seriously now. We're nothing away. Like, against Bournemouth, we were bad. Yeah. And that seems to kind of be setting the tone for how we've performed away most of the season. Take these home games seriously. Put your strong performances out. Kind of try and pick up some momentum.
So we've not been taking them seriously all season though. Why are we suddenly now going, oh yeah, it's a must-win situation? Why couldn't we have done that?
Because I think like, when you look at strength of schedule, you're looking at playing the bottom teams, and you look at playing them at home and playing them away, and we've got beat by Crystal Palace in dubious circumstances. We struggled against Bournemouth. We got well beaten by Watford. It really didn't matter. That strength of schedule got through out the window. So I think what we take from this now at this late stage is Villa should be the favourite at home, regardless.
Tough games at home, though.
Yeah, I mean, you've done with Liverpool, you've done with Manchester City, so those are the two games you definitely lose. I think Villa can give most teams.
Man United, Arsenal at home.
I think they can give, and Chelsea, I think you can give them a run for their money at home. I really do, because Villa, like, we shouldn't, by all accounts, we shouldn't have beat Leicester. We shouldn't have beat Leicester.
Well, that was the first time this season, isn't it, that we've come up against a team that we're expected to be beaten by, especially over two legs, a team that's well above us in the table, and you think, probably going to lose here, and that's the first time this season we've pulled out an unexpected result against a bigger side, so it
Watford,
can be done.
Yeah, Watford as well. It's like, I went to watch them on the 28th, we got hammered, we got done. And you kind of come with those expectations. Villa have got no striker. They're playing against Watford. They fight all game and they grind Watford down and get the late goal. So, you know, Villa's home form is getting a bit of momentum and needs to carry on and kind of infect, if you like, this away form, because we need to get on top of that. We need to cut out the silly losses away, maybe get draws out of that and start getting these wins at home. And I think a strong performance against Tottenham kind of sets the tone for the rest of the season, whether it is a loss. If you can put in a strong performance, get a draw or even a win, strong. I'll go for 1-1 draw.
I was going to go exactly the same.
Take that.
Yeah, I'll take a point against Tottenham. It's still Tottenham, isn't it? As much as it's a home game and we need to start picking up points, an unexpected point against Tottenham is good enough. And then, I haven't got the fixture in front of me because I never do any prep. The game after that, if you nick something there as well, is it an easier game away? I feel like I should probably check this. Let me check it. Southampton away is who's after Tottenham. So an easier game, but a game on the road. If you can nick a point against Tottenham and beat Southampton away, that's a very good...
But that's the questionable thing, is like Southampton at the start of the season were deemed to be struggling. Now they're just an away team. They're an away team that we are facing. Well, obviously that'll be the home team, but us on the road, it doesn't look good whoever it's against. To be honest, if you can't beat, like, to be completely blunt, if you cannot beat Bournemouth at home, a team who were, you know, by all accounts,
at their home.
Yeah, at their home, at the Vitality Stadium, a team where reports are saying Eddie Howe is beleaguered, he's done. Like, Bournemouth are crashing, they're going down. They beat Villa, beat Villa.
Yeah, embarrassingly.
But it's an away game, and I think that's how we define it from this point on, is these away games are going to be the ones where we go into, regardless of opposition, expecting it to be extremely tough and not always expecting a win or a draw.
Yeah. So makes those games at home absolutely massive, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. This one on Sunday against Tottenham, it's big. But the best thing you can do is put that strong foot in, get the big atmosphere going, set the tone. Win, lose, draw, set the tone, I think.
That's what happened with, again, I wasn't there, but Ash spoke about it against Bournemouth. The first seconds, the ball bounced off Ezri Konsa or whatever it was and goes out for a throw-in, and it's kind of like just a lazy, sloppy start. That sets the tone for Bournemouth to go, right, we can get at Villa here, and that you almost lost the game instantly.
Well, they were right against it, and I think it was kind of a mental battle they lost. You know, Konsa goes off, Engels comes on, they're always up against it, they've got the goal down. They go another goal down, they get one back. It still seems impossible, but that's these away games now.
Question I just thought of: does Konsa come straight back in and start, or does Engels deserve another go? Because at the start of the season, it was Engels and Mings that looked like a very, very good partnership.
Was the guy,
Engels looked very good.
I think the back three probably played to kind of the Konsa horse.
I'd go for, yeah.
It probably played to their strengths a bit more, being a bit more mobile, being able to play wide a bit more.
Yeah.
I know that there's that stat about Engels that we always go on about. Got to be a lie, got to be a joke. They picked up Shane Long sprinting past him. That's what it was. I'll go with Engels. He got punched in the face as well.
Yeah,
should have went down straight away.
That should have been a penalty.
Yeah, he stood up, didn't he, and then went down.
How VAR? How VAR looked at that and not giving that as a penalty?
How can you get punched in the mouth and not be a penalty? But yeah, I reckon Engels goes back in for kind of the reason of why not.
Great podcast.
Genuinely, like, why not? Because he was the guy. Like, he was good. Like, and then he disappeared.
So we're going to stick our necks on the line and say we're going to get a point on Sunday against Spurs and be happy with that.
Not really sticking your neck out though, is it?
No, not really. I'm just waiting for this to come back and
as long as it doesn't get called off, of course.
Yes, so maybe Storm Dennis will come and save the day. How about if we play it and if we're 3-0 down at half time, we'll just go, it's a bit windy, can we just go home?
What if Storm Dennis scores for us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember that one a few years ago with Begovic for Stoke? and he scored. It was really windy that day, and the ball flew into the net.
It's the Darren Bent beach ball one. Yeah. So that should have been accredited to the beach ball.
Yeah, maybe big
deflection.
Maybe Storm Dennis can play up front. Dennis and Samatta. Yeah, we're going massively off topic. I think that pretty much sums up.
That's perfectly on topic.
Is it?
Storm Dennis is happening, mate.
Is it trending?
I don't know. Don't even look at that anymore. I'm clocked off.
Get the analytics up. Bit of admin then before we go. To wrap it up, we've been recording for just over half an hour. Little plug for the podcast we did with Dan Bardell. A little shout out as well to the Villa View guys. Do you want to give a goodbye message?
Legends.
Legends.
Absolutely. Well deserved. A lot of love. I hope a lot of love continues to go their way, kind of for the rest of whatever they choose to do.
The rest of their lives.
Constantly go, like, you are the Villa View guys. You know, you included us. You were, kind of, I guess, trendsetters. Fan media. Nice.
Yeah, crazy. So, it's sad times. There's going to be a little get-together live event.
Wake.
Imagine that, like a big picture board at the front with the logo on, and everyone comes and signs it.
Oh, when you did the kind of the thumbnail for you and Dan,
I put it in black and white.
Sad.
Sad. Rest in peace. But yeah, I'm laughing about it, but it is sad.
No,
are you going to be there on this event, by the way?
Yeah, I'm working in early, so working in early next day as well.
Nice. Oh God, good luck with that.
But no, it's a sad thing, but it's a good thing because like you kind of stop it and everyone goes, where are you going? Yeah. That's the best possible kind of reaction.
Yeah, it is nice.
But like, it's a natural thing, isn't it? People, we've all had our projects in the side, and it's just so much work.
Progression.
So much work. When you've got a full-time job, a family, girlfriend, loads of commitments, it's hard work. So fair play to them for kind of sticking out this long. It's a long time.
Yeah, 5 or 6 months without me as well. Not to be all like, I know what you're
going to say.
I know, but you know what I mean. One of us left, and
everyone had commitments.
It comes across terribly.
It's hard. It's hard work, Dan.
So yes, there's an hour and a half podcast with me and Dan chatting about kind of the struggles of creating stuff and the pressures that come with it, and the kind of the guilt as well that people don't know about when you miss an episode, and feeling guilty about that. And people would just think, oh, it's fine, which it is fine, but once you're in this mindset of being creative, letting people down, and there's 10,000 people there, and you say, oh yeah, we're not doing anything this week, that does bear on you a little bit. So I'll put a link to that on screen somewhere, or in the show description, or whatever it's called.
Solid listen. It goes quicker than an hour and a half.
Yeah,
it really does.
I was a little bit concerned whether it was going to come across a little bit self-indulgent or a bit arrogant, because obviously you're talking about yourself and your achievements and stuff.
Every episode, about meal deals and that.
People love the meal deal stuff. So yeah, the compliments of it have been good. So go back and watch it if you missed it. It'll be on Twitter as well.
Mug to give away as well.
Yes, a mug to give away. We're gonna have to pick this live, by the way, because I've not prepared a winner.
Is it iTunes review? Best iTunes review.
Yeah, so I said about 3 months ago.
What if it's like a really horrible one? Because there was a nasty one about.
We read out the horrible ones.
Oh yeah,
that was their prize. Yeah. Getting called out on the podcast.
Getting publicity.
So. Yeah, about 3 months ago we said send in your iTunes reviews and the best one will win a mug, because we've got about 500 to give away. We also, when we did the dog pun thing, I said someone could win a mug for that as well. That has been sent out now.
That's sorted.
That's sorted.
Got that one in hand.
Done. Yeah, so there's one more to go. So how are we going to do this? Shall I just scroll and you pick one, or do you actually want to read them? Because we said best iTunes review, so it shouldn't be random, should it really? But I feel like we're doing this on the fly now.
But then you're bribing people with like a mug.
Yeah, I know, but that's kind of the point, isn't it? How about if you pick it and then it's not less biased then? You know that gif of all like the maths floating around the head? I feel like that's you now, trying to work out which one it should be. Come on, pick one.
Okay. Love the laid back chat, insightful views of everything Villa. Always listen to these while driving to Villa Park. Up the Villa, 5 stars, Mark 4V. PS, he likes free mugs. That's the one.
Oh, that doesn't sound like our podcast. Are you sure that's an iTunes review for our podcast?
That's 19th of December 2019.
Informative, what was it? Essential listening. Insightful views. He's not been listening. He can't have been listening. There's no insightful views on this podcast. Always listen to these while driving to Villa Park. Up the Villa. PS, I like free mugs. Kiss. Little kiss at the end. So Mark, I can't even say 4.
Mark 4V.
Mark 4V. I think I know who that is. I think he follows me on Twitter. If you're listening, which you better be, because
just win you a mug, mate.
You love the show, so I shouldn't even have to go and find this guy. He should come to me.
Yeah, he should be knocking on your door.
That's the real test, isn't it? If you were just here for the mug, you won't know about this part. Whereas if you actually watch the show, you'll see this part and go, yes, I've just won. So whoever that is, get in touch with me on Twitter or YouTube comments or email me or something. I don't know. I'll put my email on screen as well, just in case you're not a Twitter person.
Dangerous.
That's fine, email me, it's fine.
What if you get called Techie Boy again?
That's fine. People can send what they want, I don't care. So yeah, a mug will be coming your way, Mark 4V, at some point in the next 6 months when I get round to it. That iTunes review was in December, so it would have been 2 months since then.
What's the competition even going then?
Yeah, because he said about 3 mugs, so it's been that long.
Well, unless he just went 3 mugs.
Yeah, for the future.
These guys have got mugs on the table.
For the future. Yeah, so there's a little bit of admin done. Took about 6 minutes of the podcast there, which is ridiculous. So yeah, thank you very much, James, for providing some, what was it? Excellent insight, whatever you said.
That's my scarf.
Bit of set dressing.
Yeah,
nice.
got a few pie charts on the go, weather report.
Yeah,
all sorted, man.
Good, you can come back.
Thank you.
Maybe I won't bother anymore, and you can just do it.
Well, then I'll get insulted.
Yeah.
I can't deal with them, man.
Can you not?
I've got to take them home. That won't go away.
Really?
I'll sleep on those.
I don't care. Say what you want.
I do. Don't do it.
Say what you want. So yeah, James, thank you very much for offering some football chat, a podcast with no nonsense in it.
There's a bit of nonsense.
Bit of nonsense, but
sprinkle.
Yeah, just a sprinkle of nonsense. But yeah, half an hour of decent football chat there, I think.
Nonsense, bae.
Stop before you say something wrong. My phone's going mental. So let's call this podcast a day. Call this podcast a day? Call this... What am I trying to say? Call it a day for this podcast. Call it a day with this podcast. Yes. Thank you very much for watching or listening to this episode of the Claret and Blue podcast. We'll be back on Monday to talk about 3 points for Villa against Tottenham. 100%. That's definitely confirmed, so you can have that now.
That game gets called off then.
Yeah.
Good luck,
Maybe we can get the 3 points if it's called off. Maybe Spurs will just go, yeah, you know what, just have them.
Sod it.
We don't need them. You can't say sod it, that's swearing.
Is it?
No, I'm joking. Yeah, thank you very much for watching or listening. We're definitely rambling now. Get some iTunes reviews in if you want. Keep them positive though.
Don't get a mug anymore.
Yeah, the mug offer, the mug bribery is over now. So, yeah, just be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice to James because he does care what people say about him. I don't.
I do care because it makes me angry, and if I see you, I'll be like, Poof.
Right, should we go?
Yeah, call it a day.
Okay, were you going to shake my hand then?
No,
shake my hand. Shake my hand if you want. Nice, good handshake.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody, for putting up with our waffle. And, yeah, get involved in the comments, subscribe, iTunes views, Spotify, everything. We'll be back soon. Thank you very much. And
up the Villa.
Up the Villa, boys.
Thank you for listening to Claret and Blue, an Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please let us know. We love hearing your feedback. We'll be back soon with another episode. Until then, up the Villa.